I'm limping. I've got one eye, but I'm still strong. I'm still moving, I'm still got my chin, I'm still doing things. I was a very top amateur boxer. See. First, I was a Soweto champion for 9 years. No, in amateur, I didn't have money. So I was just fighting for gold medals and silver. That's what I was fighting for. I used to enjoy to fight myself. Because sometimes I was to fight 6 times or 8 times a day. And I beat them all. See. These are my medals. And these are my class. 10 to 15 years, 20 years. So that's what my fight has to knock them down. I suppose after 246 damage fight, it was about 240 knockouts. Yes. And then the other points. So I was really 240 knockouts. So even my coach has to be proud of me because they used to call me George, you know, a brick.
I once heard that where we live in relation to the surface of the earth shapes what we become. What then, I wonder, becomes of those who live in the thin air of Hillbrow, almost 2 kilometers above sea level? And what of the men who live below them in the dark catacombs left by the gold mines? And what about the man they call George the Brick, who lives in a disused workshop below a makeshift boxing gym?
So I ran away to school. Then I stayed for 5 years in the street. Cold weather, everything, no food, nothing, no clothes. So I just stay in the street now with my friends, you know, just begging and stealing and doing all those things. In fact, I get arrested. And then I went to jail. To me in prison, they can make your wife, so that's why I started boxing. I refused to be a wife of someone. Me, when I started studio, it was only white people. I didn't see black people. I used to see ladies, old mamas. They used to wait for white people.
Who would have guessed, standing on Pretoria Street at that time, that every white person one could see would pack up and leave Hillbrow one day? Many were persuaded that white supremacy was a timeless tradition designed by God. As a child, I knew nothing about the politics of race and privilege. Yet even in later years, apartheid never soured the excitement of living in what was known as Africa's New York. Bernice Goldman is one of Hillbrow's oldest inhabitants.
It was nice. I did miss those days. A lot of Jewish people staying at this hotel. I used to go every weekend there to the floor and sit down, have tea or chat. You know, you see this one, you meet the people that way. Being in a restaurant, coming to a restaurant every time, people get to know you and that sort of thing.
By the 80s, I had already left Hillbrow, which was poised for radical change that no one saw coming. Black South Africans refused to wait for the end of apartheid and began to move into what was officially designated for whites only. Somehow, the authorities turned a blind eye, and for the first time, we caught a glimpse of the future. But of course, white supremacists were having none of it.
We will let the whites go in, but not the blacks.
I don't think they should be allowed to swim in swimming pools. And secondly, they shouldn't be allowed in Hillbrow.
Whites could protest, but nothing would stop democracy now. When Mandela walked out of prison, wave after wave of people began to arrive in Hillbrow. Democracy was a signal to thousands of Africans to head south, to escape oppression in their countries. or to look for opportunity in ours.
Because more people come to stay in South Africa, so no, it was just mix up people.
When you look at the situation, you know, like it's about dog eat dog there. Everybody's there to survive.
Everyone come from everywhere, like in Africa, from DRC, from Nigeria, from Zambia, from Zimbabwe, and they meet at Hillbrow.
90% of the people who are staying in Hillbrow are most foreigners. You understand? I don't know where the local guys went, but they somehow, they're here, but there's not a lot of them.
My name is Mimi Maua Bonamoya. I'm coming from DRC, Congo. I decided to leave because there's no peace in my country. And then I decided to come here in South Africa to try to survive. My 2 children, one is in Kinshasa, but one I don't know where he's in. We get lost when there was the fight in Goma, and someone told us they saw them in Congo, Goma, and then we tried to find out, maybe to communicate with them on the phone, but until now, not a good news. I just pray for them.
The word on the street is that every time a country in Africa is convulsed by strife, a tremor is felt in Hillbrow. Buzi Kumbwenda, known as Buzi the Boxer, came to South Africa from Zimbabwe with her mother.
Fighting is in my nature. Like my mother, she's a fighter. My grandfather was a boxer. You know, my uncle, he was a soldier and a fighter. So it runs in my DNA. You know, like it is in my blood. The time when I came to South Africa was like 14 years old. I didn't even finish my school. One day, I was watching myself in the mirror, and then I asked myself, why am I here in this world? And what do I want in my life? I was very angry, very, very angry, you know, because there are a lot of things that happened into my life so far. And the stories that I never told even anybody, you know, like people that most people that they think they know me, but they don't know me, you know, my background.
Down the very street where I once lived,